Apologies for the late start for technical issues. I need to go buy us a new webcam. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Geez, what another pointless KI Live. For those who are employed, KingsIsle had another KI Live. These live streams are meant to be the bridge between the players who pay to keep the game afloat and the company that supplies the content. With this last live stream, I think this is a tipping point where players like myself are completely fed up with how useless these streams are. Let's see what all the fuss was about. Community Manager Emma mentions on Thursday, April 30th at 5:30 p.m. EST that after a month there will be a KI live stream. A week prior, she asked the community for questions to be answered on the live stream. Players put out their questions, and keep in mind I am a Pirate 101 player, so I'm mainly going to focus on Pirate for this video, but a lot of what I'm going to bring up can be argued for Wiz too. 530 hits, and nothing. 540 hits, and nothing. 550 hits, and nothing. Finally, 30 minutes into the stream, the two community managers, Emma and Mickey, show up. They apologize for the technical issues and continue with the stream. They proceed with about 20 minutes presenting some of the news with Wiz and Pirate.
The next is the Beast Moon Developer Diary, which Mickey already talked about a little bit, but you should check that out if you haven't yet. And next is the Harvest Lord plushie.
I'm really not a fan of this because this is all information I can look up on my own time. I don't need to watch a stream to see this. What I want are updates to future content, such as this comment right here by Blind Mew.
And now we are going to move into questions and answers.
Cool, the part of the live stream that is worth tuning into. Let's see what gets answered.
First thing first, it's a great question. Can we get updated Worlds of ringtones on the website? Will we ever put one-shot gauntlets back in the KI Live codes? Yes. So, next, will more gauntlets be craftable using the Aqua reagents, like from Lloyd Falling Water? Yeah. Are you planning on doing quick sell anytime soon? It's one of the best features that the game needs most, especially with less backspace than Wizard. What do y'all think? Would quick sell be useful? Chat? Can you do what RuneScape does? Shout out to RuneScape. And on your homepage, show the current count that is online for PC, console as well if possible.
So outside of a few fine questions, which I will highlight because I don't want to completely vilify our two community managers, there was very little information given out here, especially for Pirate. This frustrated a lot of the community who are looking forward to this livestream to keep them updated on what KI is doing while waiting for the next big update, which is likely to come out in a few months. Not only that, but Wizard fans were teased about an upcoming raid which some speculate is a Mushu themed one, and maybe some Marleybone changes such as modernizing the outdated areas like Wizard City and Krakatopia got. The stream ends and that's it. And what preceded this was of course a lot of outrage from the community. I'm making this video to detail how bad these live streams have been, not just recently, but for a long time. KI Lives in the state they are paint a very clear picture of the relationship KingsIsle as well as GameAgo have with their players. It's pathetic and I want better. First off, you can't have a live stream with just these two. I see a lot of people asking about why questions pertaining to Pirate, especially heavily reacted ones, were completely ignored. The sad truth is, they can't answer these questions because they don't play Pirate 101. Mickey does play as well as stream Pirate, so I would expect him to be able to answer some questions.
All right, so one of the things I wanted to quickly say about Pirate is I actually haven't had a ton of time to play Pirate 101 since I joined.
Wait, did I hear that right?
I actually haven't had a ton of time to play Pirate 101 since I joined.
This guy has been employed as the KingsIsle community manager for Pirate 101 for almost a year now, and you're telling me he still hasn't played Pirate? I gave Mickey a 6-month grace period since he is new and needs time to learn the game, since I personally think you really need to know Pirate 101 if you are to be a community manager, but he's barely started? What? I'm sorry, but how is this acceptable? How are people okay with this? Pirate 101 is not a long game to complete. Even if you play a couple hours a week, you can finish the game within 1 to 2 months. How is someone who is getting paid to be the community manager not playing the game at all? This is why the last KI Live also brought nothing of value. It is once again filled with people who do not play Pirate 101 and maybe even Wizard 101. If you can't get the people who actually know the game on stream, you might as well not stream at all. Or at the very least, the questions were asked days before the live stream. You could have just asked the developers like Dom, Sam, and Ryan to pick 1 to 2 questions and pre-write an answer, and then you can just speak for them. I think KI Lives are a fantastic way to build trust with the players and give them hope for the future. I want Pirate 101 and Wizard 101 to thrive long term. That is my entire goal. But you need good representatives for the game for this to happen. And it starts at the top. Another game I've played in my past is Teamfight Tactics, which, similar to Pirate 101, is also a game that was derived from a popular predecessor. The game did solid on its release, but hit a slump and almost faded into nothing. The reason the game is still up 6 years later, and growing, is heavily due in part by this guy, Mortdog.
Over the entire lifespan of TFT, the game got over 300 million players.
Yes, 300
Now, yes,
million
this
players.
is not really a reliable number because the peaks and downs are all over the place with TFT.
Wait, it's not a reliable number? It is exactly a reliable number. It is a factual number. The context might matter, or how you interpret that might matter, but it is a very reliable number. Don't tell me it's not
It first
reliable.
peaked when it was
Mortdog is the lead developer for TFT, and is a perfect model for a developer. He streams, interacts with the community, provides outlooks on the state of the game, and answers just about every question the community asks thoroughly. It is everything you'd want from a developer.
And this question's easy, but also you're gonna laugh. Okay, what item has been the most design limiting when making units and abilities? So this one's actually really easy. Blue buff. Blue buff is so incredibly design limiting. It's like, because blue buff exists, you can't have anything of like 10 mana or 20 mana. It's like 30 mana is the minimum. And even then, when you make a 30 mana champion, guess what item they must have to be functional? Blue buff. It's like, literally every 30 mana champion in the game is like, that's a blue buff champion.
Why can't we have KI-led community events? I know they brought up a Kraken Day on Wizard where you can defeat the Kraken with Emma, which I guess is fine, but there's really no incentive for players to come out. Maybe we have 4v4 for fun PvP brawls. Maybe we have some weekly hide-and-seek events for 2.5k crowns. Something besides a KI Live that will keep players interested and give them a reason to log on. This goes into another problem where unless certain developers are going to be featured on the KI Live, there's no point in watching. As an example, I took 3 past KI Lives and looked at the transcripts provided by Atmoplex. Dom by far is the one who talks the most. It's honestly not a surprise, the guy plays the game. He used to post on Central years ago, and there was a stream recently after the El Toro promotion, and you can see Dom going through his characters, and keep in mind, they are all maxed out. The other developer I mentioned, Mortdog, was at times a top player in the game he develops, so he definitely knows how to answer just about any question that's thrown at him. In the first livestream I picked out, which showcased a majority of the pirate team, Dom answered about 60 questions. In the second one, Dom answered about another 60 questions. And the third one, he did about 25, which, although is significantly less than the previous 2, is still second highest comparatively speaking. My point on all this is that the reason why Dom can effectively answer a majority of the questions is because he knows pirate. Now, this isn't meant to necessarily claim that just because Dom talks way more than anyone else on stream that the rest of the pirate team knows nothing and are paycheck stealers or something. I can understand if people aren't the best at being able to talk in front of a camera. That's not what they signed up for. As long as they provide value in their position for the game, that's more than enough for me. For example, I see people shit on Bradley Barnacle and claim he is invisible since he barely engages with the community or on stream, but that's not really true. He does more than product is meant to, and y'all should give him some more respect. Hey, don't worry Ryan, I see your work and I appreciate it. The problem I had with Andrew as a developer was that not only did he barely speak on the KI Lives or the Discord, but he actively sabotaged the majority of the Arc 2 updates. As the senior world builder, he was the main one in charge of piecing together updates such as Tartarus, Zigazag, and Trianon, and is the main reason why a lot of these updates have extremely noticeable bugs. Some of them got fixed, like finally being able to switch realms in areas like Zigazag and Trianon, but others like Cerberus not having an animation added when there is one made in the files is ridiculous. The problem I have the most is with the higher-ups at KI, because these are the people who should know all of the answers. There is one KI Live in particular where Cam, Ratbeard, Falmea, and Artie were present, and coincidentally, I asked a question and it got answered. Now, I don't think my question was too hard to answer. I asked, could we have more fights that allow everyone to bring in 3 companions? The way Pirate is, only the first person can bring in 3, and everybody else brings in 2. Honestly, it is a simple yes or no type of question, but I would have loved to hear the explanation. Maybe we can have fights in the future that bring in more than 3 companions to allow more companion diversity. It would also give an incentive to buy companions because if there are fights where you can bring in more companions, well, then you probably buy more companions. Here is what they said.
Can we have more future fights that allow everyone to bring in 3 companions? Kane's fight is an example. Currently, a lot of new content only allows the person to bring in 3 and everyone else 2. So, this is a Dom answer. Anyone want to take it? Going once?
I'll
Going
read
twice?
Dom. No. Yeah, Dom. Almost. We're always looking to explore as many mechanics as we can in fight design. There you go.
Ever since that Nothing Burger answer from the higher-ups of KingsIsle, I stopped asking questions altogether. At this point, I've lost a lot of interest in listening to KI Lives. They've essentially lost my trust. Little tip for people watching, KI awards 2.5k crowns or 2 weeks of membership if your question does get answered, and seeing how they tend to prefer easy questions to answer because, again, they don't play Pirate and barely play Wiz, you might as well plop a bunch of simple questions like, what's your favorite swashbuckler companion, to get free stuff. Although I do have faith the next Pirate update will do well since I don't think Andrew is working on it, these KI Lives need to be better if KingsIsle really wants Pirate and Wiz to thrive. I'll see you all later.